It's another big earnings day. Microsoft and Alphabet just reported their latest earnings report. Beats across the board for both companies. Alphabet currently is up 12% after hours. Microsoft is up 5%. Remember, these are companies that are worth trillions of dollars. So being up 12% as a $2 trillion company is quite something. Now we're going to go over both reports. I'm still going to cover Intel and probably Roku today. And then tomorrow, I know some of you have asked me already, info on Adian. That video is already done, but it's going to be for Friday before the market opens. So Alphabet right now, like I said, it's up 12.30% at the time of making this video. So one share will cost you $175.2 right now. I compared both companies compared to its 5-year mean. Clearly here, in my opinion, Alphabet still is quite cheap. Of course, it is now closer and closer to its 5-year mean, but overall, for a company of this size, as profitable as them, and now we see some reacceleration in growth, in my opinion, it was a no-brainer, still is a no-brainer for long-term investors. I've talked about Alphabet for quite a while, under $100, more recently this year at $130. I mean, sometimes you just have to take those opportunities. And then with regards to Microsoft, one of the strongest companies on the planet, everything that they touch basically already turned to gold or is turning into gold. Yes, valuation-wise, it is a bit more expensive. Now, purely looking at what the analysts were expecting as of today, probably these numbers will get updated. If you look at the fiscal years, fiscal 25 and 26, they were expecting top-line growth of around 10% year over year and then EPS growth of around 15% year over year. In my opinion, those will be revised up. And so before jumping into the earnings report, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. We're going to cover quite a lot of companies during this earnings season, so make sure you're subscribed. We're very close to reaching 40,000 subscribers. And if you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get a top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. So I'll start here with a couple of comments. First up from Sundar, our results in the first quarter reflect strong performance from search, YouTube, and cloud. We are well underway with our Gemini era, and there is great momentum across the company. Our leadership in AI research and infrastructure and our global product footprint position us well for the next wave of AI innovation. As for Ruth Porat, President, Chief Investment Officer, CFO, said, our strong financial results for the first quarter reflect revenue strength across the company and ongoing efforts to durably re-engineer our cost base, very important. We delivered revenue of $80.5 billion, that's up 15% year over year, and operating margin expansion, as you can see right here. So up 15% year over year, operating income $25.47 billion, operating margin went from 25% to now 32%. So net income reaching $23.66 billion, diluted earnings per share $1.89. If we look at the various segments of the business, Google search increased year over year, now $46.1 billion. YouTube ad, by the way, yes, if you're going to look at quarter over quarter, of course, it is down from Q4. Q4 is traditionally a very, very strong quarter, but still some strong growth here across the board. Besides, okay, Google Network is a bit down year over year, but not by much. Overall, Google advertising sits at $61.65 billion. Google subscription platforms and devices also increased year over year. Overall, Google services is now over $70 billion for Q1. As for Google Cloud, we see some continued growth there as well. For this quarter, $9.57 billion, and so total revenue, as we've seen before, over $80 billion. Total TAC is traffic acquisition cost, is a bit higher than last year, still under 13 billion, and the number of employees has been reduced year over year. If we look at the profitability side of things, Google services increased year over year, $27.89 billion for that. Google Cloud continues to grow as well quite nicely. We're reaching that $1 billion. We're now at 900 million. Other bets is a losing one, as always, close to $1 billion there. Alphabet level activities, $2.3 billion. And then the big announcement, which to be honest was to be expected. So they announced, they approved a cash dividend program, declared a cash dividend of 20 cents per share that will be paid on June 17, 2024 to stockholders of record as of June 10, 2024. To be honest, it seems like every quarter I get a new dividend paying company in my portfolio without actually changing anything. With regards to stock repurchases, they're authorized to increase to add an additional $70 billion to that program. And lastly, free cash flow for this quarter was $16.83 billion. If we quickly look at the graph, of course, this company is now making new all-time highs, so really there's nothing there to add besides the fact that probably RSI is going to be overbought by tomorrow. Moving to Microsoft. So Microsoft right now is up close to 4%. If you look at what the analysts are expecting for the coming fiscal year, top line of around 15% growth year over year, and bottom line around the same thing, sometimes a bit more. So looking at their results, revenue increased 17% year over year to $61.9 billion, operating income of $27.6 billion, that increased more than revenue, that's up by 23% year over year. Net income increased 20% year over year to $21.9 billion. Diluted earnings per share of $2.94, that increased 20%. Satya Nadella here said, Microsoft Copilot and Copilot Stack are orchestrating a new era of AI transformation, driving better business outcomes across every role and industry. As for Amy Hood, the Executive Vice President and CFO, this quarter Microsoft Cloud revenue was $35.1 billion, up 23% year over year, driven by strong execution by our sales team and partner. So let's have a look at the different segments of their business. Productivity and business processes was $19.6 billion, that increased 12% year over year. In that you have LinkedIn. LinkedIn revenue increased 10% year over year. That's also a reacceleration quarter over quarter. As for revenue in the intelligent cloud, that was $26.7 billion, an increase of 21% year over year. And that was driven by Azure and other cloud services revenue growth of 31%. As for revenue in more personal computing, that was $15.6 billion, an increase of 17% year over year. This includes Windows revenue, so that only increased 11% year over year. But don't forget, there is going to be a refresh. Windows 12 is coming, I believe, in the second half of this year. Devices revenue decreased 17%. But Xbox content and services revenue increased 62%. Of course, that was driven by 61 points of net impact from the acquisition of Activision. So basically, that segment would not really have grown by much. Microsoft also returned $8.4 billion to shareholders in the form of share repurchases and dividends in the third quarter of their fiscal 2024. And as always, the forward-looking guidance is going to be mentioned in the earnings call, so expect that to be written in the pinned comment of this video. Then with regards to the graph here, right now after hours, we're going to make our way back over or just under the 20-day moving average, but pretty close to its all-time highs where it has been for the last couple of weeks, besides of course this week and last week. The 200-day moving average sits at $373. Last time we went under it was right here at March 2023. We're also under it beforehand before we made our way back up, and we saw that huge rally from March 2023 and onwards. Right now, RSI is neutral-ish with the 3 to 4% bump after hours. It's going to be going up a little bit, but definitely not going to see this being overbought unless they mention something quite extraordinary during the earnings call that will push this stock up even more. But I mean, it is quite a large company, so pushing that up even more after hours is going to be quite something to see. But like I said, the forward-looking statement will be mentioned in the pinned comment. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Stay tuned for an Intel and an Roku video, and then on Friday the Agent video is coming out. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.